It wasn't his fault.
It wasn't his fault.
It wasn't.
He ain't tripping this year.
He was just expressing himself.
Is Le'Veon Bell a villain in your opinion?
Not in Black Panther. He's a hero.
Will you stop? What kind of apostrophe in that name?
And is J-Rob the best part of baseball?
Hell yeah. Look at that. Bring your wife to work.
Sports Nation is presented by Toyota.
Did you guys hear Marcellus just say, bring your wife to work day?
Bring your wife to work day.
Hello. Welcome to Sports Nation. I'm Carrie Champion, Marcellus Wiley, LZ Granderson, special guest, dear friend, Jamel Hills.
Oh, my
What's
God.
up, Jay Boogie?
How do you feel?
Look, I'm feeling good.
Do you feel short?
Yeah, I do, a little bit. I'm the shortest person on this set. See how they do?
You really had to say that? You think they don't know that right now? I'm the shortest.
That's a hot take.
Hot take. Golden Places Folks presented by Toyota. First up, this is crazy. Golden State of emotion. Kevin Durant's first game back from injury. Had two quick tees, ejected late in the first half of the Warriors' loss to the Bucks. He drove to the hoop and thought he was fouled, and he let the ref know that basically you didn't do what you needed to do. This is Durant after
The family version of that.
Yes,
I got
exactly.
fouled and I told him how I felt about it, and he kicked me out. Pretty simple. Felt like earlier in the game, too, I was going to the rim. It was an easy call, and they missed, and, and that was the second one I felt like they should have called. Mainly just foul calls that I think they're wrong, and I tell them about it, and they don't like how I say it. I get tossed. I could definitely talk to them a little better, I guess.
We guess. All right, so Jamel, let's start with you first. Should the Warriors be worried or concerned about his 14th, I'm talking about KD's 14th tech?
Yeah, they should. I mean, only one player the last 25 years has had more ejections than KD this season, Rasheed Wallace. That's my homie, but we all know he struggled to manage his emotions. And look, people know, once they know what emotionally triggers you, they have power over you. So the refs all know this. The other players on the court all know this. And so as he's going into the playoffs where they're really going to need them, with Steph Curry being injured, he just has to do a better job of controlling himself, even though he was in the right. He was in the right because the referee, he kept getting fouled on the same, basically similar plays, and he wasn't getting the call, and he got frustrated, but he can't let it get to that point. He got a woosah or something.
So, but then he what he said to the ref, right?
Yeah, that's a little out of line.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely out of line. I'm not really worried about it, and this is why. They won 73 games without him.
Okay.
They won a chip without him. They've been to multiple NBA finals without him. If he gets kicked out for one game because he reaches his 15 to 16 tech, I think they're going to be okay.
Well, they said that when Draymond got suspended that one game and thought they were going to be okay, and that came back to haunt them. You can't keep messing around with your roster and that chemistry and that continuity that you have with your star players. I wouldn't be worried just because this is a guy who obviously could be trusted in those critical moments. You get to the playoff, you know you're close to a game suspension. Sure. That's when you kick in. You say, yes, coach, no, coach, yes, ref, no, ref, and you continue to play.
You think he controls his emotions in the playoffs?
Yeah, you have to, because it's a trust.
You don't think so?
We'll see. We will see. I mean, he's been doing this all season. He's kind of in a pattern right now.
Not all career, though, but all season.
Yeah.
I like this new KD, though, the champion KD.
The champion KD.
Yes.
Next up, this ring a bell, folks. Le'Veon Bell has been no stranger to off-season contract drama. We've all talked about it. After the Steelers placed the franchise tag on Bell and then tabled contract talks, he took on Twitter just basically to vent. And he says it's so hard to be a hero in a city that paints you out to be a villain. I have no idea if that is true. Marcellus, is he a villain to you?
Well, he's been vilified in part because of his own doing. Like when you're suspended, when you're a holdout, people will look at you and target you rather than ownership. So employees beef with employees. They don't ever go to the top with their issues. It's the crabs in the bucket kind of thing. So fans look at a guy who wants his money and starts to vilify that guy. I get that. But he also contributed to this whole vilification of who he is, because not only are your money, but off the field issues that led to a suspension, and also the fact that this is a guy who's not playing by the rules per se. So people will take shots at you, but you got to be Teflon to that.
I sit there and I go, I'm assuming he's talking about the people in his city, because I don't know anyone outside of Pittsburgh who thinks he's a villain. Right. Why? Because we know he's the best. For long. So if he feels vilified, it's only at home, not around the country.
Now, I don't know about that, only because we're talking about fans, and the one thing they all share, Marcellus, you know this, regardless of his outfield issues, they don't ever like to hear players talk about money. Yeah. Like, as soon as you start talking about your paycheck, the first thing a fan will tell you is shut up and be lucky that you're in that position. Right. And so I think it's just a common thread among fan bases. He has to realize you're never going to win that fight Get your money, get your paper. I understand why he feels underpaid, but he can't worry about what everybody else thinks. Right. Worry about when that direct deposit hits.
That's you know what?
The
You're
first and the 15th.
Yeah. The lowest paid player in the NFL still making 10 times the average person out there. So,
all right. Next up, we're talking about a perfect pro day. Lamar Jackson threw at Louisville's pro day, and he told ESPN he was pleased with his performance. However, Jackson did not run the 40, and according to reports, they're having trouble setting up meetings. They being teams. So right off the bat, I'll ask you, Marcellus, do you think that this is hurting his draft stock?
No. I think this conversation right now is telling that they aren't really interested in him. So then they're covering their butts, because I've been recruited before, and when you are someone that's coveted, they will be at your doorstep. They ain't got to wait for your mama to pick up the phone and make an appointment. They will beat you down because his mama's his agent. So they will be on your voicemail. You can't even get a call from your girlfriend because it's blocked and it's full. So don't give me this. What they're really trying to do is, hey, we want to see you run the 40. Why? I'm the fastest dude in college football since Mike Vick. Oh, you know what? We really want to get these meetings scheduled with you. Do you really want to, or are you just covering your butt in case you don't like me?
When you say we want to see you run the 40, Jamal, you think he didn't run the 40 because he's trying to make a point?
Absolutely. Yeah, besides, they look at the tape, they know he's fast.
Man,
So I understood why he didn't want to play into their narrative or play into the larger narrative that he should switch positions, because as soon as he runs a dope 40, next thing you know, here comes that wide receiver talk. I think, look, there was a narrative established with Lamar Jackson a while ago, and everything after that was going to make sure he fit into that narrative. That's why we know what his Wonderlic scores are. That's why all of a sudden we're having this conversation about the 40. All of a sudden you're hearing about how teams can't contact him because he went a non-traditional route and didn't get an agent. So this is just them trying to make the storyline fit about Lamar Jackson. It doesn't hurt his draft stock either way, because most of them, their mind is already made up.
Right. I don't think this hurts his draft stock at all, but I am a little concerned if this sort of non-communication is impacting other ways in which he can make money. Is Nike trying to get a hold of you? Can't get a hold of you? Is Adidas? Is some other company that wants to work with you?
There's no such thing as you can't get a hold of me. When you want this, you get this.
What I'm saying is, if he's going a non-traditional route, then perhaps the people who are used to working traditionally don't know how to get a hold of him because they're used to just pushing a button.
They can slide into his DM.
Man, it's an easier way than that.
Oh, so Nike's going to slide into his DM?
Yes, it's called guerrilla marketing.
You want to do this?
If somebody wants to holler at you, they'll find a way.
They're going to find a way. And look,
this isn't Instagram trying to slide into your DMs like this. This is actually about business and everything. And sometimes people will say, you know what, you're too difficult to hold up. This could be a precursor to what it'd be like to be a business partner with you. I don't want to be bothered.
The positive thing is, I'm glad he didn't run a 40. You run a 4.2, guess what? We expected you run a 4.2. You run a 4.3, 4.4. Oh, I thought you were faster. No upside to running that 40.
So what's, Jamel, your quick advice for him?
My quick advice is to keep doing what you're doing. People may not like your setup, but I think the ones that want you, worry about that team. Don't worry about these other teams and all the mess that they're talking. Worry about the team that wants you, not the ones that don't.
There it is.
Good news. Now we're going to bad news. It's time for 3 jeers. One from my main man, Russell Westbrook.
Uh-oh, these shots.
These shots. A few shots.
We mean this is shots fired. Paul George, like one-way ticket, L.A. I got to go. Got to go. Ain't no rebounding that.
I can't get a step of shimmy when you try to get
Russell, that dude at the white is like, you got to get yours off the glass. Straight up.
2 jeers.
LZ.
Kyle Schwarber, he's a Cubs-Marlins game. He hits a left center, and Kyle misses the ball.
Can I get my Thursday back from all this opening day baseball?
You know what? I ain't mad at you, Kyle.
Man,
dinger, though.
I mean, I only watched 2 games, took 12 hours.
Stop it, man.
2 games. 3
Stop it.
jeers
It's
for
a beautiful
the
sport.
Warriors. Why do we always put JaVale McGee in here?
I'm not doing it.
He puts himself
I'm not
in there.
doing it.
I'm playing with him, man.
Forgets how to dunk.
He's a champion.
He vilified now, too?
He vilification.
Breaking out the Columbia word.
Right.
Embiid has a face fracture and he'll be out 2 to 4 weeks. What does this mean, folks, for the Sixers and their playoff hopes? We talk about it.
Rihanna ain't going to want to see that.
Not a career over.
Sports Nation. That ain't going to